I have hundreds of hours on Delta Force now. And now that it's out on both console and mobile, of course, already on PC, I want to answer some of the questions that I've been getting. How far has the game come since launch? Is it worth picking up now? And how is it going to fare with the releases of Battlefield, but more so even Arc Raiders coming next month? Let's get into it. A few weeks ago now, Delta Force dropped on console, which, if you combine with the release of mobile earlier this year, it means that they've achieved their goal of being playable by anyone on any device for free. While it is definitely commendable, I really can't think of many games that are that easy to play across all platforms, especially done so well. The same game, cross progression as well. It's kind of insane. I mainly play on PC, although I have downloaded it for mobile. You can do some crafting in the game, especially for the operation extraction side of the game. And it's great. You can access all the menus, your stash, your money, but I haven't played too much of the actual game on mobile. And as for the console gameplay, it's definitely had a lot of mixed opinions. Heck, even on PC, it's had a lot of mixed opinions. There's a lot of people who have seen me play this game every day and have been very mad that I'm even playing it. Even on console, though, as I have been streaming it recently, I've seen a lot of people really having a blast on the game. And so it makes me confused of like, how do some people hate it so much, but then others find it to be such an amazing game? And while I think it is a testament to just how many different types of players there actually are, I do think because it is free to play, it makes it much more accessible to a lot of people who probably haven't dove into a lot of other games in the first place. And I do think between all the different modes that are here, there is a little bit of something really for everybody. And I'll touch on some of those in a minute here. But there's definitely been issues I've seen as well, even on the performance side for some people. The Exclusive Ace posted a video about how his performance on the PlayStation 5 made him nauseous playing the game, and that he found the frame rate choppy, super unsatisfying gameplay on the controller. I know he plays a ridiculous amount of Call of Duty, and the fluidity of that game on controller is a big selling point for a lot of people. He said he had some experience with the game on PC, so maybe if he was just playing completely blind, again, he didn't see any of the other options or ways that there are out there, maybe he'd have a different opinion. I felt the same way after I played in 1440p for the first time. I was like, well, I have to play on this now. I can't go back to 1080. Same thing playing at 200 FPS versus at 60. But he's not the only one even mentioning these issues. And in general, I think people think that the controller layout and the menu navigation especially is very rough. This game, especially for the operation side, does have a lot of depth for the looting, inventory management and stuff, and doing that on a controller is just super hard to make it fluid, especially for the level of detail there, whereas something like Arc Raiders, they've simplified it to just being individual boxes. There's not certain sizes. You could put a whole giant gun into one slot versus this. The bigger the gun, the more space it's going to take up. You got to fit it into the right spot in your tack rig or your bag, etc. But that, as well as issues with queue time, apparently crashes do occur, and I guess even at the initial launch, there was crossplay issues, which forced crossplay on console. But I think they've fixed that now. A lot of people, especially, have told me that they turned crossplay off to not play with PC, in particular, even M&K players. That, of course, though, limits the player pool and then increases queue time. And even on PC, queue times have been a problem for a long time for the game. Some have gotten better. The giant map Alley Grove actually is significantly better for queues. I couldn't even get that game to load before the console launch, and I'm getting it to load now quite quickly. I'd love to see it, but it's not the case for all of the different maps and variations because there are a lot. But overall console, from what I've gathered, it seems like still could use some work on the port. It's not the best experience, but I do think the actual gameplay experience itself of that extraction shooter that I know so many people have wanted who don't have a PC, who aren't going to spend the hundreds of dollars for Tarkov or whatever they want to get, nor have the time to spend hundreds of hours to just get the basic understanding of Tarkov, that can get a lot of it fulfilled from a game like this. That also is more accessible. It has things like hit markers, knock indicators, and it's a bit more Call of Duty-fied. That's where I really think they have the most unique offering. But let's touch on the modes then. What does this game have to offer? What can you expect if you did want to get into it? The game's split into 3 different modes. You have the Black Hawk Down co-op campaign. You've probably heard of the movie, probably seen it. This is Black Hawk Down, and you could play it with 4 people. It is quite a difficult campaign, at least it was when I had played it. I think they do have the ability to play it solo now as well if you want to. They have the Battlefield type experience, giant 32v32. They even have naval combat with boats, helicopters, attack helicopters, and even like a Little Bird type scout helicopter. This in the format of a breakthrough as well as conquest style. Again, very similar to Battlefield. And then they have an operations mode, which is that extraction, that escape from Tarkov like experience I was mentioning. Obviously, I've touched on all these. I've covered it a lot. A lot of you guys that watch my content know, but just to catch some others up here. They have had other modes as well, 3v3v3 style mode, which I actually really enjoyed. I think they have like a search and destroy type mode. They do a lot of limited time modes as well as events in this game. A lot of those that'll pop up on your screen, but it's a very wide offering for a game that is free. You can play the whole campaign and then put it down and never have to spend any money. But it is treated as a live service model. Fortunately, the game is not pay to win. If you want to buy anything from the store, it's cosmetic based. Technically, you can buy the battle pass, and there's some things that you do get from it, but it's definitely not like what we've seen from other games that have done this, where you can just pay for the actual currency and then go to the auction house and use the money. You do have to play the game and actually earn stuff. So I think that's also one of the reasons that the game has been well defended by a lot of people. And there are a lot of people that have been playing the game and enjoying it, myself included. It may not go as deep as you want for like the Battlefield mode. I even finally went back and played that, caught up with some of the recent seasons, which every season they have been adding new maps, new operators to the game. They all have slightly different balance for the different modes, a couple differences in their abilities, which is nice. Like they're thinking about all of them. But I finally was getting into some of the heli gameplay, for example, and I kind of switched my controls to rifle aim for how I like to do it in Battlefield. And the sensitivity just all felt very strange, even on the mouse and keyboard. Granted, again, I'm probably just more used to how Battlefield works, but while there was some things that I actually liked better about the vehicles on here, especially how deadly the weapons were insane. Some of the fluidity, especially in the animations, or even like when you're playing as a ground unit, there's a lot of stuff that you just cannot mantle on, which looks like you could mantle on it, but they're very controlling on the lanes and the routes that you take in the game. That being said, there's also a lot of really specific jump spots that you could utilize that then give you a massive advantage for map knowledge in both of the modes. That is really fun to learn, because once you know it, you can dominate people. Like putting a lot of hours into the game in that sense definitely helps you get angles and advantages, but it also makes the game feel a little less smooth to play, because this thing that looks like you should be able to jump on it, you just can't. And then of course, the game just being free to play also comes with hackers, which is one of the biggest things that I always hear about this game. And they're very vocal that they are working on it, that they are aggressive with their anti-cheat. They do have a kernel level anti-cheat for their system. They're constantly posting about how many people they're banning, but again, it is a free-to-play game, so that is going to be part of the issue with it. And I think this is just in general, while a lot of people are moving to more PvE focused games, especially from the multiplayer side, because they don't even have the time or energy to focus on a game like this, let alone play it, which is a very difficult game, but then also to lose your gear. It's not even just going into like a battle royale where you go in and you die and then you reset and you just go into a new game. You're bringing your gear in, you're bringing value that you've been building up that you could then lose. And they do have a feature where you can get your gear back if you die to a hacker and that person gets banned. Any of the gear that you brought in, you'll get back, but I've never gotten anything back. Granted, I don't really report that many people, so maybe that's why. I don't know, but I've still never gotten anything back. The really nice thing is the game has been super consistent with the live service, though. The updates on the game have been coming out regularly. There's support for it with, again, the new operators, maps, modes, the difficulty increases, the balance adjustments that they've done. When the game first came out, the easy mode, which is definitely not easy, but like for the extraction, the starting you would go into, you could go in with the highest end gear for it, and they made a cap for it, so you can't just go in stacked out of your mind. You can still go in with pretty good gear, but not something that's going to be literally endgame best top of the line gear. They've been adding tons of new weapons as well, and they've even been adding endgame content. This new prison map that they added at the last season was insane. I played a lot of labs on Tarkov. It gave me a lot of that experience, but honestly, this game feels extremely PvP focused, and especially for how difficult it is to extract on their kind of end game modes, it is crazy. And at least for the quality on PC, from what I've experienced ever since the early beta that I played of, you can go back and look at my streams and videos from then. This was such a good, I don't even know if they called it alpha or whatever. It was so good to play. Like, no bugs, good frame rate. And even after launch, it's been very similar. There has been more stuff that's kind of popped up as the seasons have gone on. And I am playing on a higher end computer, but the fact that it even runs as good as it does on mobile and on older phones as well is definitely quite impressive. But I think the big comparison for a lot of people is other extraction shooters. We were expecting this game to even come out on console at the end of last year in 2024. It was then pushed to the beginning of 25 in Q1, and then of course it wasn't until the back half of 2025 that it actually came out. And now there's more competition for that space. Exoborn's coming, which seems to have some interest, but Arc Raiders has massive interest, and that's going to be dropping on console and seems to be well designed for it. Their tech test was also incredible. And against it, if you do want to compare, this has some strengths. It's free to play, so it's more accessible. The gameplay is a first-person extraction shooter. Many are familiar, at least, with DMZ, and this is a massive upgrade from that with an in-game player economy, which is sick. The gunsmithing, the realistic weapons that you also get to see in first person. The gunsmithing is crazy deep as well. It even has the codes that Call of Duty is finally adding, where you can just copy a link and get the full build for it. They also have really good systems for creating that, saving builds, re-kitting your character up, the variety of maps as well as the difficulty within it, the satisfaction of looting and actually having that player economy to build your character, your outside stash up. The coolest concept that I've seen so far, where you can go in, extract an item that is a cosmetic in the game. You can also sell that to other players for currency in the game that you could then use to buy other cosmetics. Essentially, it's a way to extract real value out of the game. Although you can't necessarily take it out of the game like in Counter-Strike, how they do their weapon skins and everything. But imagine you're playing CS and you find a brick on the game, and if you end up winning, you get to keep it, and it could be an epic skin, one that's maybe even worth thousands of dollars. But the weakness, of course, is for sure the hackers, and I think that level of complexity to the game is very appealing to a lot of people. It's still not at where Tarkov is, but it has a lot of the essence of that game while being way more accessible. While it's still way more accessible, Tarkov is such an extreme that even a more accessible version is not near, you know, the full casual playing field, to where if somebody's not really wanting to get invested fully in an extraction shooter, I don't think they're going to be willing to deal with the clunkiness of a controller console looting system to do it. And I'm guessing that's where I'm seeing some of the juxtaposition between the players that are really enjoying it and being like, why is anybody playing this? Comparing that then to Arc Raiders, it's seeming like they're going to solve some of those problems. But Arc Raiders is going to be a full-price game. It's going to be in third person. It's going to have an emphasis on PvE while also still having PvP. Yet to see how deep the end game of that's going to be. I haven't seen anything like a player economy. Not to say that one's right and the other's wrong or anything like it, but just to give you the context of what these games are offering around the release. And the vibe of Arc Raiders is also just very different. It's even slower in the way that you move. Obviously, it even being in third person means you can look around corners, and they have a solo element to the game. At least it seemed like, where when you were queuing in solos in their tech test, it was matching you with other people that were solos. And on top of that, it even had proximity chat. And the voice system in that game was phenomenal. Not only did this lead to just fun experiences, but it totally changes the way that you actually play the game in so many scenarios. As for then the warfare mode, which is that Battlefield style one versus something like Battlefield 6, well, I realistically don't think there's any way where this is going to be a solid replacement for Battlefield 6. This is a lot closer to something like 2042, which I know a lot of people don't even like in the first place, but again, it has the strengths of being free to play. It's got huge maps, which is reminiscent. It's got the vehicle combat with the helicopters. They don't have jets yet, but it does look like it is coming in the next update. And there are some Battlefield moments to be had with all of the constant updates that they're doing to this game too. There is at least refreshing content. There's an active community for it. They have a lot of those like rock, paper, scissors mechanics where the helicopter is going to be countered by the anti-air, but it's going to be super destructive to the tanks. The tanks are going to destroy the anti-air. They're going to be weak to the helicopters, etc. That rock, paper, scissors style. But I think think for a lot of people who have actually owned Battlefield or played that already, they probably get the sense that this is just a not as good version of what they would experience there. It has destruction, actually even has building in the game, something that was back in Battlefield 5 that's not in 2042, which is sick, actually. They even just added swimming to the game. So again, if you can't buy the full price game, especially with the new Battlefield coming out, that's going to be $70 minimum here, or you don't have the system that's going to be able to run the latest Frostbite engine on ultra settings and, you know, whatever to run it all, this realistically could be a good alternative. But I'll say I had a ton of fun with this game, and I still really enjoy hopping on it. One of the best things about it to me, honestly, is just that it doesn't reset. That's something that upset me about Tarkov, and I know a lot of people love the wipes, and that's part of the reason people keep coming back. I get it, but it also makes it so, like, I put hundreds of hours into the game, and now all of it's gone, and I'm like, I don't want to go back and restart. This game, you keep your progress, and there's still every season, and on that new season, all of those missions are also new. Some of them are similar, but it kind of gives you a reason and more content every season within the game while also not losing all your progress. If you want, you can start a new character. I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing for the overall health of the game, but some of my thoughts. I also think if this was successfully launched on console and could have captured the North American audience all at the same time, everybody could have played it, it would have been sick. There's so many people who are like, oh, I just got my first mil, I just got my first 5 mil, I got to the level here, I upgraded my stash, whatever, that are telling me this in my comments, and I'm like, I remember doing that, dude. It was a bunch of fun. It's not quite the same experience as like everybody being on the same page. Super stoked that people are getting to do that, and I did. I really enjoyed my playthrough of that, and getting every single faction completed was sick. But I also feel like at this point I've played the content, so I don't really want to go do it again. That's just another personal preference of mine. I don't really, just like I don't really rewatch a lot of movies, I don't replay a lot of video games. I like to go on to new experiences for the most part. Even if they're very similar to what it is, it's a new tweak, a new twist, a new challenge, something new to master with it is really fun for me. And I do think this game has a pretty decent audience as of right now. Will it be able to sustain into the future? I think it's going to depend on the amount of content that they continue to release. They're still doing a lot of it. It's still a free-to-play game. They've got another new season coming with a Raptor operator, which kind of looks insane. It's a new recon operator with a drone that can fly, EMP grenades. They got a fighter jet that's coming, as well as a new map. Console improvements are coming with 120 FPS support, controller handling improvements, aim assist improvements. So yeah, I feel like this game, a lot of people really don't like it. They've never given it a chance before. So I wanted to offer some of my perspective, actually putting in a ton of time to the game. You can go watch any of my streams on this. I plan on still playing it when new seasons come out, when new interesting things hop up and I have the time to do it. I'm super excited for Arc Raiders after doing the tech test there. I had to restrict myself from playing it. But, you know, once I play through all the content, especially if it's lackluster on the end game, I don't know how much time I'm going to put there. I'm definitely going to play through all the Battlefield content, their Battle Royale. I'm going to be playing through all of that as well. Will it be 1,000 hours on any of it and a super grinder for me? We'll see. But you guys tell me, have you played it? Did you try it on console? Was it as bad as you thought? Did it surprise you? I've had a lot of fun covering the game. I hope to continue to cover it into the future. If you guys want to continue to stay on with me, make sure you're subscribed. But I feel like the team has released a solid base product that keeps getting more good updates. They even have an esports competition that's coming up. So I don't know. I'm hopeful for it. As I am with most games. I want more good, fun games to play. It's great for me. Hopefully good for you too. That's for this one, though. Thanks so much for watching. Stonemouse.